feeling good. You know, it's nice. You know, last spring I wasn't going full speed or at all. I was in the pit over there. It's nice to be out here.
How are the quarterbacks acclimating? You guys look like you're throwing the ball well.
Yeah, I think we are. You know, everybody. It was a different. You know, we had a QB battle last year with Dwayne, Joe, and Tate.
Yep.
Really Dwayne and Joe, and so it's a different thing. You know, those were more veteran guys, and we've got a younger group now. You know, I'm technically the most veteran guy. At least I've been here the longest. I don't stay. I know Chris is older, but it's a different dynamic than this last year.
But it's still a battle, right?
It is.
I mean, yeah, everybody wants to start, right?
For sure, yeah. I mean, the best players going to play. They're going to play.
And when Justin transferred in, your thought was?
Well, you know, I've never been afraid of competition. You know, I know that he's got a lot of, I'd say, hype around him, but he's lived up to it. You know, everything I've seen about him throwing with him before spring started and even in spring, he's living up to it. Yeah. He's a great player. You know, it's awesome to be able to compete against him like that, you know, kind of measure up. But it's been great.
Do you run the quarterback room now? Is the old guy in there? Is that how it works?
I wouldn't say that. You know, Joe kind of had that effect last year. You know, he was a funny guy, kind of kept it light. But I wouldn't say I run it. We're all like equal. Yeah.
Who throws the better ball?
I'm not going to say anything. That's up to you guys.
You had some nice throws today. How do you feel like, at least when we were out there, you were throwing some really good balls. How do you feel like you performed today?
I felt good. You know, I think I perform best is when, you know, we're into it. We're either a team or 7-on-7 when it's competitive. You know, and I'm not thinking too much. Sometimes when I get out there and I think too much, you know, I can, like overstride or not, not throw, just let it loose. And so I like it when we're into it. I play better.
You mentioned last spring how you had to sit out because of the ACL. When were you finally 100%? Was it like somewhere during the season itself?
Mm-hmm. It was probably about like 6 or 7 games into the season that I felt 100%. I could have played earlier, I think. Coach Day was in like the 4th game, I think it was Tulane. He said I probably could have played in that game, but I wasn't 100%.
Are you sensing this will probably go into fall camp?
Yeah, I mean that's not for me to say or know, but
yeah.
Garrett Wilson had some really nice things to say about you. Just if you could speak more about your relationship with Garrett, and that's got to be nice to have someone from your top receiver from high school here with you.
It's awesome. Every time I see him out there, I'm cheering for him. Obviously you guys have seen him out there too. He's making a name for himself already. I'm trying to get him. Last year we had only one early enrollee get their stripe off. It was Tommy. I'm trying to get Garrett to be the one guy this year who gets it off in the spring. It's really hard to do, but he started off on a really good foot.
Matthew, when you come to a program, do you project at all what the quarterback situation might look like for the next 2 or 3 years, and then when it changes pretty drastically the way this one did after 1 year here, like how do you process all that?
Yeah, well, that's part of making your decision. I think is that if you're going to have a chance to compete and play, and that's something I definitely thought I had when I was coming in here. And you're right, it is a different thing when they bring in guys, but every coach is going to do that. If there's a chance to get a really good player, they're going to go out and get them. And so, that's just something that you have to accept and move forward.
With Justin, most people would assume that Justin came here because he thinks he has a chance to start. And I think most people on the outside would assume that he would be the starter. I know you don't assume that, but I don't know. Do you take it personally at all? Does it when they essentially recruit a guy to come in over you?
Yeah.
For lack of a better word.
Well, he probably went to Georgia with that same mindset. He's going to come in and start, and Jake Fromm held him off, and so, he has his strengths and his weaknesses. I have my strengths and weaknesses. I'm glad I get to compete against a guy like that. No one wants to be handed things. I don't think. You don't feel like you earned it, and you're not going to be handed things here. So I never expected that coming in.
Do you feel like the equal chance to compete for the job because of the hype around him right now?
Yes, for sure. Well, Coach Day is the one who specifically came out and recruited me. Ohio State was really my first Division I, big time offer, and so Coach Day found me, and he believes in me, with all of his heart, and so I trust him.
Did your mindset at all change when Fields came here? Instead of at first you thought it was going to be a competition with you and Tate, and all of a sudden it's you and a guy who's a 5-star recruit coming from another place. Did your mindset change at all?
I think Tate was also a 5-star, so I knew no matter what, you're going to be competing against someone good here, right? I think I was kind of chasing Tate. I think that was kind of my position, so I had a fire under me, and then now Tate leaves and Justin comes, so I guess he's kind of chasing me, or we're kind of fighting each other. So it is different, but I think I have the same motivation.
You don't feel like you're chasing in this spring?
I don't think so, no. We started off equal.
What's been your biggest challenge coming back from the injury? What's your biggest obstacle to getting back to where you want to be?
Yeah, well, one of Coach Day's biggest selling points is when you throw, you get all your power from the ground. And so, I've had to relearn how to use my leg, because sometimes when I would just start working back into throwing, when I would push off, it would feel loose or just not as strong. And so I've really had to work on that a lot with our trainers. Stu has been so great with me, and so we've gotten that going again.
Matt, where are you at health-wise? How much more are you able to do now that you're kind of a full year back now? Can you kind of just give us an update on that?
Yeah, well, I feel pretty much 100% right now. I think the only thing, my body I'd say is 100%. The only thing now is confidence, like sometimes when I run, I might just subconsciously, when I'm trying to cut left, not like plan as hard on my right leg, just, not me thinking about it, just it happens, and that's just something, it takes time.
What was last spring like for you coming back from the injury? How much were you able to do then?
Well, I was in the pit over there. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but that's where the injured guys work out over there. It's generally not a very happy place. But so yeah, I got worked out over there, and so I didn't get to do much. It was all mental, trying to learn this stuff. And mental reps are awesome, and that's how you really learn when you can't play. But you can't really know an offense until you're in it playing. And I learned that in the season when I actually was getting reps. The offense just started clicking.
How much were you kept in the loop by the coaches with Justin Fields and his decision to transfer?
Yeah, well, Coach Day is honesty is one of his most important parts, and that's always been here. And so throughout the whole process, he was letting me know what's happening. I wasn't going to find out on Twitter about anything, something like that. He was letting me know.
When you were deciding to come to Ohio State, did you anticipate the second year would be the year that you start competing for the job? Like, in your mind, was this always, regardless of who else was here, that you'd be in this position?
Yeah, well, I think I'd like to, make a name for yourself as a college, and I think, Dwayne, I'm trying to say, I think the longer the start you start, so I'd say yes to that, sorry. I'm trying to say the longer, if you have 2 or 3 year starter, like Baker Mayfield, for instance, he started, 3 or 4 years at Oklahoma? He's a legend there, I think if Dwayne had started 2 or 3 years here, he would just be so, he's already what he is, but, the longer you start, so obviously when I get here, I want to start as soon as possible so you can start making a name for yourself.
Along those lines, though, you showed a great deal of patience in high school, waiting your turn until your senior year. Can you afford to show the same level of patience in college because of what you just said?
Well, it is different, because you're fighting for, I think, but, Mitch Trubisky is a great example. He only started 1 year, right? And he was, a top 3 pick? I can't really remember. Number two. And so I think patience is a very valuable thing. And if you're in the right place, I think you can get to where you want to be from anywhere.
Hey, Matt, just a little that we get to see you guys.